Hi everyone, finally all back from Belgium, gone through a lot of the finds, cleaned them up a bit. What I'd like to do now, because you don't get to see that much in the videos, is I'll just show you in a bit more detail all the stuff we found over the 3 days on the field in Belgium. Hope you enjoy, stay tuned, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's have a good look at everything we found. Hi everyone, so today I'm going to finish off the Belgium trip by showing you some of the finds in a bit more detail, because there's an awful lot. So we just go through some of the bits, some of the really big bits like that beautiful huge horseshoe we left behind. That's actually gone into a chap's garden for his garden display, and some of the other bits are certainly rubbish we left, so I'll put some pictures of those up right now. You can see all the bits that we found but left behind that were definitely scrap. Some bits you didn't see me get out when I had the camera issue, and the other bits hopefully you did if you followed the whole series, and thank you for doing that. And also thanks to all those that liked the videos and all my new subscribers, so we're doing great on the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It all helps. So let's have a look through some of the bits that we did bring back, and there is quite a bit. It's quite interesting, some of it, so we'll go through and we start with the bits I've got in front of us at the moment. So this huge slab could be just a piece of cast iron drain pipe, but it's also possible it's off one of the early shells. But it is immense. You can see just the size of this. You know, it's thicker than my finger, so I suspect it may well be part of an early shell, and that's just immense. This again, very sure this is part of an early shell. Part of the top where the whole thing goes together. You see the tags inside and the lines and the colouring and the shaping and everything about this says that it's part of one of those shells. So that's a lovely find. This one I'm yet to clean up. I want to try and clean it up really gently. But this, I believe, is that very top cone part. So put it that way, you'll see the shape. So the very top cone off one of the shells. You can see it's threaded inside here and all shaped. Pretty battered and beaten, but I'll try and clean it up gently in the future. Again, it's a huge weight. You just can't imagine the weight of that the shells must have been when they came over. But that looks very, very much like the top cone of one of the shells, which is amazing find. You can see all the thread in here, hopefully. So yeah, love that. My collection of bits is getting a bit large, but some bits you just have to, don't you? Okay, so from there I'll move on to the shrapnel finds next. Okay, so this is all the pieces of shrapnel that we're certain are pieces of shrapnel. There's a couple of little bits up the side here, vaguely doubtful, but I think they're basically melted steel and some of the inner workings of it. But there's some lovely pieces in here, like this one. It's a large rimmed one, and hopefully you can see all the grooves and the shape where it would have sat together as part of the shell. So some of these are just amazing, and again the detail on something like this, all the fine detail on the inside or the outside potentially, you get the much deeper grooves which are very characteristic of these early shells. And most of the stuff has these real deep grooves on the outside. Other bits like this one could be part of the inner workings. We've got this very detailed lining, very similar to the top of that cone that I showed earlier. So this could be part of one of the top cones. Shaped ones, again, internal parts of the mechanism, like the other one that we had at the start as well. Ring parts, again with catches and shape. It shows all the makeup, how these things were put together. Just unbelievable, killing things, just dreadful shells. And then, as I say, some of these bits may well just be stuff that was just turned to molten steel when it hit. All of this is metal. It all pings up at round about the same sort of frequencies. So you're pretty sure that everything on this tray is shrapnel, but you can see just how many parts that we found, the different colours, the different textures. So this one's shinier, so it could again be part of that top cone. So yeah, so that covers the shrapnel. I've got one more piece of shrapnel on the other board, and possibly some other pieces of shell that we're not 100% on, and I'll save that for the next bit because that's really impressive. So I'll bring the next tray over now and show you that. Okay, so this is the next tray, and the bit I'll show you first is this piece of shrapnel here. Now all these parts on this side, these are all those balls that I kept finding that are all packed inside the shell, so when the shell explodes, these all shoot out and just cause massive devastation. There are a huge number of those in every shell. So this piece of shrapnel, what makes it so special is that you can see the curve on this, and if you look at a ball, you can see how that ball, as the explosion's gone off, has forced its way through the side of the shell. So I absolutely love this piece because it gives a real feel for just that massive force. And you can see a lot of these balls like this one have got big dents on the outside where they've either impacted each other or the shell all the way on the way through. So that's that piece of shrapnel, and you can see all the balls here. There are lots, all slightly different materials, or they may have just aged slightly different. They've obviously been in there a long time, but a huge range of balls. So I'll move across. There's more pieces here. I thought this was shell, but it's much lighter, so it doesn't feel the same. So I'm not sure on this one what that could be. No real patterning on it to give anything away. This one is very interesting. This could well be part of the internals of a shell, but again, slightly different material. It's still quite heavy. It's not lead. It is a cast metal, but this lovely cross-hatched patterning inside it. So could be part of a shell, could be something else, but quite an interesting design on that one. Again, another huge piece of quite possibly part of a shell, one of the heftier parts of one. These two, we think that's still got bits embedded in that one, but this one's clearer. We think this is part of a hand grenade. So you can see the threads there, and the lip with the key here, and on the top of hand grenades that top part was threaded in and had a key to turn it with the bar, so we're pretty sure that's part of a hand grenade. So that's nice. These two are musket balls, different sizes, but huge, especially this one. Absolutely immense musket balls. You can see the seams on them. They're definitely musket balls, but huge things. So that takes us back well before the First World War for the musket ball use. So again, adding more date onto the field. And then we come to the shells and the bullets, and we have a range of bullet tips. So these two are similar but slightly different lengths, and then these two are pretty much identical, but again different to those. So nice range of bullet tips that we found. The shells are here, and again very varied. They all look a bit different sizes, different shapes. I'm sure Matthew could tell you a lot more about these. But lots of different designs. Some obviously your classic sort of 303, but some not, such as this one, much bigger bore part of the shell. And again these different designs, so possibly earlier. So there's a good range of shells. Got a shotty. You can't go metal detecting without a shotty, so we have got a classic shotgun cartridge. This one is the same size as a shotgun cartridge, and it says made in Holland. Got a picture of a bugle. It's got a 42 and a 12 and something else under there. So it's like a shotgun cartridge. Looks like 12 bore gauge, but the whole thing is metal. So it's an entirely metal shotgun cartridge. So whether that was used for a rifled slug or one of these trench rifles, had very similar things to this. But you can see hopefully that bugle on there as well. So I'm sure you guys out there all know things and spot stuff, so feedback to me. Any more information you have. Next is this, which is solid steel, quite possibly part of an explosive bullet tip, but for a really big calibre. I mean, you can see the size of this in my hand, and it's possible that this one, which is even bigger, could have been the shell or part of the shell for this one. So this would be the shell that fired that, but this thing's huge. So that's all our shells. Lovely collection of bullets, balls out the thing, out the shells, musket balls, bullet tips, and rifle shells. That concludes that, and I'll move on to the next part. This part was interesting. It's got a square looking peg on the outside and the circular part. And the top is recessed. fascinated if anyone knows what this is. I'd love to know what it is. It does look really interesting. Okay, so some general bits of possibly junk. So this one's just a nail, but it seems a very, very old style nail. So again, hung on to that purely because it's interesting. This one I found, and it is just a piece of lead, but it's very, very folded and turned and rolled. I can't see anything specific to give it any purpose, so I think that is just a piece of lead. This one, again, looks like lead, but it's much harder, and I think what this is some sort of mechanical contact or wire, so a cable crimp. So it's probably possibly some sort of cable connector on that one. This, although it's not much, it rang up as if it was bronze, and I can't really say, but it feels like this may well be part of a fibula, so you may have a bit of a Roman brooch on the field as well, which is nice. This one I've tried to clean up because it looked really interesting, but it's obviously steel, rusted away, so I'm not getting any more out of that. It's got some really interesting shapes in it, but I can't get any more without damaging it, so I don't want to clean it any more than that. I think I referred to this one in the video. It's really shiny in bits and very, very textured here. Again, I suspect this is actually something out from inside one of the shells. Again, that's cool. This one I'm not sure about, but I'm sure you can see it's quite patterned, almost like leaves. Now that may just be natural fissures in the material, but it looks quite patterned to me, but I can't say exactly what this would be. The inside is fairly rough. Interesting, but I don't know what it would be. Now this piece I found, and it was all just bent up and covered in mud, and I thought it was just a piece of lead, but I've soaked it for a few days in deionised water, and it's opened up and it looks to be some sort of tag or seal. So two circular sides and the tag over the top, but then a pressed piece through the middle. Now on the back, hopefully you can see it says 38, quite a square numbering, so very square 3 and 8. And then on this side, the part pressed through the centre has got a cross and an S and a dot. Presumably it had something the other side. So it could be a bag seal, but it could be a tag off something or someone. So again, if you've got any ideas, please let me know. But yeah, quite interesting that. Out of nothing, always worth cleaning up your stuff just to check it out. This one, 2 parts of some sort of sign. I suspect it's off some farm machinery, but you never know, it may be off something military. Looks like S and FRE, and then Shin FAO possibly. Again, if you've got any ideas or you can make out what it is or recognise it, please do let me know. But it's lovely when you find a sign off something, albeit not complete and albeit in parts, but I'd love to know if anybody knows what that relates to. Okay, I'll move on now to some of the smaller and more interesting finds, if you like. Okay, so this one looks like just a piece of foil, but it's much harder. I haven't done a silver test on it yet, but I suspect it's silver, but it's got quite a lot of patterning on it, cross-hatched, and lines and streaks and shapes. Not enough really to work out what it could have been originally, but lots of very fine patterning on this. But it's obviously succumbed to either the shells or the plough over the years, which is a shame. But yeah, interesting. I suspect that's actually silver. Next is a nice buckle, obviously military style buckle, and again succumbed to either an explosion or the plough. Had quite a lot of force on it. You can see how much it's mangled, but yeah, always nice to find military buckles, but definitely looks military on that one, so lovely. Keeping with buckles, there's this lovely old small buckle, very nice shaping on it. Again, love buckles, especially the old ones. And speaking of old ones, I think this one's possibly even older. That's a classic eyeglass buckle, as they call it. Okay, last bits of potential junk. Bit of very hard steel tube. Could be out of anything, but it's really heavy, so I'm not sure what that would be. Battery connector, I think. Again, just a stud, possibly off clothing. Washer, tarpaulin ring. So again, that could have some age to it, or it could just be off the farm. Tag, may have seen this one in the video. It's got letters and numbers on. I believe this is going to be an ear tag, so from a cow or cattle or something, so I think that'll be an ear tag. Twisted, melted bits of steel. Again, more bits of lead, so that they're showing a bit of age to the field with all the lead. And some very heavily melted hard steel. Another tag, this one. Loads of numbers on this, I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. I think that's probably that way around. Again, got two tags on the outside, so it's off something. No ideas. If you know, let me know. That interesting rivety screw. Certainly looks like some real age to that because it's very square. It looks handmade square nail with the rivet ends. General bits of steel plate. This was that huge bottle cap. Now I just can't see quite enough to make that out. It may be that it's a well-known Belgium or German brand. It seemed to have an eagle on, but I'm struggling to see that now. But if anyone knows, let me know. Then a little end cap, so a locking threaded bung for something. This one I thought was interesting. It actually looks like a thumb screw, so it's got the shaping on for an adjuster. So my thoughts, it's something to adjust, maybe even sights off a rifle, something like that. So it should have a screw through and then thread and adjust the proper thumb screw grips on there for it to be adjusting for something. And that's about it for the scrap. So interesting bits. This one, I thought this could be a pip or a collar stud. It's about the right size, as if it would be a uniform stud. Not really looking like it's got anything written on it. Can't really make anything out on that. But yeah, possibly a pip or a collar stud, which would be nice off a uniform. This tiny little piece, as you can see, it's no bigger than a fingernail, but on it are some really intricate markings. There's all sorts of shapes, pieces embossed, marked, looks like sun and moon. It's got an edge as if it was the edge of a box or something, but also the other side similarly marked up, has markings on it. And no idea what it could be, but I can't believe how intricately marked these are. I'll put some pictures up again. I think I put some up previously, but I'll put some pictures to give you a better feel for what this looks like close up. Gone in right on a macro, so I'll show you those. But fascinating, that. No idea what it could be, but just so intricately marked on both sides for such a small, thin, it's wafer thin, but quite hard, so I suspect this is silver too. But some beautiful markings on that. It's buttons, fairly plain button. It says plated and the number 8 on the back. It's relatively plain, slightly raised, but no features on the front of that. But a square sided, notch sided button as well. Again, no features on the front. Still got its tag on the back, but nothing to identify it in any way at all from that one. Moving on to my best buttons. This one, the back's broken. It's got some writing on it, but I can't fully make out what's written on there. But on this side, it's got a floral wreath around the outside and the number 4. And from what I can tell, it could be the 4th Infantry of the French Foreign Legion, which again could have well been active in Belgium, but that would put it back to the early 1800s, so nowhere near World War One. Seen similar ones that are German 4th Infantry, but with the floral around it, this is very much like a Napoleonic or French 4th Infantry. So beautiful find, that one. Even better, another one with nothing on the back, but on the front we have the crossed cannons, and again with a floral arrangement around it. And this one again looks to be Napoleonic infantry. Absolutely amazing button, and again back to the late 1700s, early 1800s. So really cool find. So I was hoping for World War One buttons, and the 2 buttons I've found are much earlier than that. Coins, possible Roman, again what they call a grot, just not enough left of it. It could be a very old hammered but nothing left of it. This one's almost squared off. There are signs of something on the front, but again it's way too far gone to be anything really. Possibly a number 6 there or something, so it could be a token, could be something else, but way too far gone to ever get anything off that. Going a bit more modern. I think this is 1 cent. There you go. Not any age in these coins now. These are just the other ones I found. This one, I believe, is 1 franc. So again, not old, no real age. No real age to these. Fairly modern coins. This was the first coin I found. Thought it was 1927, turns out to be 1997. Quite pretty, one with a hole in the front. I believe this one's Belgium, 25. Written on there. So yeah, so that's the Belgium one, 1997. Which leaves just one. No, keep that sealed away in a plastic bag. So this is the gem, the star of the show. Hopefully you can see some of this. Condition for a copper hammered coin from the 1550s is just amazing. You can see the back. Hopefully it's surrounded in floral leaves. It's got a double crossed ovals in the middle, surrounded by crowns and flashes of lightning, and you can still see all that, which is unbelievable. And then on the other side is Prince Philip II. Try and get you some better light onto there. You can see him with his beard and his crown. You can read the words Rex and other words around the outside. So just stunning. Let's try and turn it so you can go good. Look, there's a nice view of him. Look, see his beard, see his crown, see the writing around him. Very thin, as you can see. So for this to have survived as long as it has, in such good condition, it's just incredible. See if I can get you closer and keep it in focus so you can see some of the detail. And the same on this side. Hopefully as I turn you'll get a view of all the detail on that one. And there he is, in all his glory. Couldn't believe it when I found this. So there you go. This is my real pride and joy from the visit. Hope this has been interesting. It's not always easy when you're doing detecting to show all your finds as you go along, and I also had camera issues, so I thought I'd just cover it all off, especially with some of the bigger bits that usually you just curse about them, but some turned out to be interesting, and some of the other bits didn't show up their true worth until they were cleaned up well after detecting. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the series. This is concluding it now, so thank you very much for watching them all. Please do like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. And we're back to UK detecting now, so we'll see you in the next video shortly. Thanks for watching, bye bye now.